So I wanted to talk about a concept called focus creates success. And I learned this from, any person that I meet that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars or even tens of millions of dollars, they all understand this one concept, which is focusing on something, intensive focus creates success. And I hear people, especially if they want to make money, they're like, oh, I need to have multiple streams of income and blah, 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 blah. And those are the ones that are always broke. And this triggers many people, but I used to be one of those people that every shiny object, everything that I'm like, oh, that's going to be a home run, I thought that, oh, I have to invest in all these things or do all these things and hope that one is going to stick, right? It's like that method of like you throw a bunch of mud at the wall and you hope something sticks. But what I really learned was how it doesn't matter what you pick, doesn't matter what avenue of making money or whatever. And this also applies to anywhere in your life. If you have a relationship, if you're just out there interested in a bunch of different women or a bunch of different men and not actually focus on one person and creating the best relationship you can create with one person, then you'll always be distracted, then you'll always be unhappy. But so this applies to everything. But in terms of money, something I learned is how much you have to learn and how much you have to do to make a business work. And it's virtually impossible if you don't have intensive focus. It's like, imagine you have a magnifying glass, right? And then I used to do this in Iran, and it was a lot of fun. So let's say you have a dry leaf and then you have a magnifying glass, and you could angle it, right? You have the sunlight goes through the magnifying glass, it creates this laser beam, and when you put that focused energy of the laser beam on a dry leaf and you hold it in one spot for, sometimes it would take a minute, sometimes 45 seconds, sometimes 2 minutes, depending on the type of leaf and all that stuff and how much sunlight there was and did I create the laser beam precisely. But eventually it would start a fire, right? It would start smoking and then it would eventually make a hole in it and then catch fire, right? But now imagine if you have 5 different leaves, right? And you create the same laser beam and you hold on one for a few seconds, then you move to the next, then you move to the next. It's like you could just go forever and you'll never create any fire with any of those. But now imagine when you have one dry leaf and you create that focus energy, you create that fire, then you could put that fire in a pile of leaves and all of it is gonna catch on fire. So you look at any successful billionaire, any successful multimillionaire, they all picked one thing and they focused on that. And then later down the road, they can diversify, you could diversify, but at first, it requires a lot of freaking focus. Another good analogy is like, imagine you plant a seed, right? You put it under the soil, you water it, then the next day, come back, you're like, oh, I don't see anything, right? So you dig the seed out, you look at the seed, you're like, why is it not growing? So you put it back in, right? You water it again. This time you let 2 days go by, and then again you dig it back up and you look at it and you're like, why is nothing happening? And you think, oh, there's something wrong with the seed, I just picked the wrong seed. So then you pick another seed, right? Another shiny seed comes in, you take that, repeat the process, plant it, water it, keep taking it out. And you could do this over and over, and it's like you're never gonna grow the seed. But many people do that. I used to do that, where I would start one business, as soon as another shiny one comes in, I'm like, oh, I gotta get into that, I gotta get into the next one. But any of it that you start, you realize it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort. There's no easy thing. the way people sell their courses and all that, they make it sound like, oh, this is the thing that's going to be easy and you make millions of dollars, and so you hop into that. But then you realize, oh, I have to actually learn, I have to actually do things, I have to spend hours and hours. It's the same thing. So you just have to pick one. And for me, as soon as I saw the people who had what I wanted, right? People making 6 figures a month profit, people who had the type of mansions that I wanted, the type of cars that I wanted. These people were like, it's that simple, dude. Just pick one thing and focus. And I listened, and now I'm creating those things. You know, by the time I was 22, I had a 6-figure car. I had all these nice watches that I wanted. Like, everything I wanted started coming at that time. Then it's like, I was like, oh shit, now I have to expand my dream, because everything I thought was gonna take me years or even decades, I just ended up accomplishing it now. So, oh shit, I have to go dream bigger. But it all came from that focus, right? So again, many people have their own ideas they come up with. They have their own recipes instead of just following the simple recipe that works, right? And Napoleon Hill, right? He's the guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich. He talked about this concept of how these quote-unquote secrets to success were so simple that when he would teach it to other people, many would not do it because of how simple it was, because we're all programmed to think that we have to do some advanced, complicated thing to make it work, but it's all the simple stuff. There's no hidden quote-unquote secret. It's just doing the boring work every day, right? And we all get programmed with all these shiny things, and we think there's some secret out there that somehow if you combine 10 different things, something's gonna work. And it's like, that is not how any of that works. And you could reach out to me, you could challenge me, you could question me. I'm cool with that, right? Because I know what I'm creating, I know who I am, and I know what I'm doing works. Because I'm just doing what the other people who've made millions of dollars, billions of dollars have done, and I'm walking through that same process, right? So if you have questions, reach out, put in the comments, reach out on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, ask me questions there. You could even hop on a call with me if you want, and then challenge me, ask me questions, ask me what's my story, then I could share with you even more, right? You could go watch my story, you could go watch my earlier videos, old videos, and see like the progress of how I've grown, how I talk, how I even physically look. My ability to actually create things, manifest things has gone up. So it's like, if you want to create something, then just follow the recipe, right? All right, that's all I got. See you in the next one.